Okay, give me a 5 by 5. Sorry about that last chat. I went for 9 minutes and 15 seconds, and it was my mic was unplugged. Thank you to whoever tried to call me. I couldn't see who called me because I don't. It doesn't come up on my phone. But also thanks to Amazing Lucas for letting me know that there was no sound. So, do you have? Is there a? Can I get a 5 by 5? Thanks. Usually, I start my live streams with, "Hey, can I get a 5 by 5?" Because this has happened to me in the past. And no, I wasn't attacked by the CIA. I was attacked by my own stupidity. So we got a 5 by 5. Cool. Thanks, Sig. Thanks, Julian. Thanks, Grace Ford, Cloud. I appreciate it, guys. Psychological operator. Good. I want to start this video again, like I tried to start it last time, by saying, hey, YouTube, I want everybody to obey the government. Whatever the government says, they should comply with it. If they tell them to stay indoors, they should stay indoors. If they tell them to close down their businesses and go broke and not be able to feed their families and stand in the bread lines, that's what they should do. You guys should always comply with the government. That's what YouTube wants me to tell you. So I'm telling you, comply with the government. Because, I mean, look at history. You won't find one example in history where a person complied with the government and it went bad for him. It always goes good for you when you comply with government. And you can learn these lessons from history. See, it seems like in our current oppressive, socialistic, censorship-loving climate that YouTube wants to discredit, demonetize, deplatform, and deperson people who have another opinion. Not even just making assertions, but who just have another opinion that differs from the Silicon Valley mind control tech giants, that differs from lamestream, mainstream, CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird media, that differs from the government who always loves you and always wants to protect you and always wants your well-being and has your best interest at heart. It seems like if you just go out on a limb and start warning people that it's probably not a good idea to duplicate the actions and the mentality of people in the past when they trusted government, if you do that, you're somehow considered an enemy of the state, an enemy of YouTube, an enemy of Twitter, an enemy of Facebook, an enemy of social distancing media. So I have to be careful what I say in this broadcast, in this live stream. I have to censor my language, but hopefully what I'm saying is coming through loud and clear. Obey government. Freedom is slavery. War is peace. Ignorance is strength. And nothing could keep us more deeply embedded in the muck and mire of ignorance than a fresh round of socialistic censorship. So there's my opening mantra for you, YouTube. We have to obey government. We have to do what our friendly neighborhood overlords tell us to do. And when they roll out the experts, definitely obey the experts, the authorities, because they know what's good for us. And they do have our health and our children's health and our posterity's financial well-being and their physical well-being. They have our best at heart. So please, by all means, obey the government. Don't learn from history. It doesn't matter if we're doomed to repeat it. Are you happy, YouTube? Are you happy? So no, I can't say COVID-19. Have to say something like cerveza bug. Can't say that thing that has everything to do with electromagnetic fields. You have to say FIVEG. Amazing. Amazingly oppressive. Are you happy, Zuckerberg? I'm sure you are. Are you happy, Bezos? Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure you're out there practicing social distancing with Bill Gates and all the other members of the Lolita Express as you partied up with Jeffrey Epstein, who didn't kill himself. I'm sure it's all working out well for you. So remember, guys, in closing on my opening monologue, obey the government. It'll always go well for you. In other news, it is no measure of good mental health to be considered well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And that's exactly what we find ourselves in, is a profoundly sick society. And the reason I said that, I guarantee you this video is going to shock you, is because I know you're a human being like I'm a human being. And often I get up every morning and I go, okay, I wonder what's going to happen that's going to blow my mind today. And I want my mind to be blown. I want to be shocked. I want to be disturbed. I want to feel fear. I don't want to act on it. I don't want to act on that being shocked. Well, maybe I do, but I don't want to act on fear. I don't want to act on emotion. I want to act on reason and rationality and truth. I want that to be the basis and the springboard for every one of my actions. But I want to feel the fear. I want to feel the pain. Because when you accept and work fear and pain and adversity and suffering to your advantage, and you go through that tunnel of fear and pain and adversity and resistance, you actually reach success. That's the only way you can. You can look at it. You can look at it in the physical realm. Your muscle will not grow. In fact, if you do nothing, your muscles will atrophy. But if you introduce them to resistance and to pain and to suffering and to massive discomfort, not only will they grow, but the supporting bones and ligaments and tendons and the cell structures around them start to get stronger. So it's with that fear and that pain and that resistance and that suffering that you enter through that tunnel and you actually go through to success. You actually achieve success. You actually gain reward. No pain, no gain. It's true. If it ain't hurting, it ain't working. That's true. Those aren't cliches. Those are actual principles that you can see play out time and time again. It is through great suffering and great pain and adversity and sacrifice that you reach success. And that's when you introduce it on yourself. Now, when somebody else introduces pain and suffering and tries to manipulate you through fear and deception and cunning and intrigue, and conspiracy, that's wrong. It's utterly at its base root immoral, because you're trying to manipulate another individual to do something that you want him or her to do for your benefit. And that's what you're seeing with the social misfits, the oligarchs today, the Bill Gates of the world, the Jeff Bezos of the world, the Soros of the world, the Warren Buffetts of the world. Those top 76 multi filthy rich billionaires who are about to kiss $1 trillion. Because of all the stuff that's going on. So I hope that you're shocked, because if at any point you stop being shocked, I just don't even see how you could not be shocked. I don't see how a person cannot be shocked and maintain or retain his humanity. They want you to not be shocked. They want you to not be outraged. They want you to not be infuriated. They want you to just sit back and take it and accept it as like Kissinger said, and all these people. Andrew Cuomo the other day. This is the new normal. I don't want the new normal. I don't want to be that frog that sits in the water and the water temperature is warm and it feels so good and it's comfortable and it's convenient and I don't have to give or sacrifice anything and I can take everything from the state. Like Bastiat said, the state is that great fiction by which everyone seeks to live at the expense of everybody else. I don't want to be that content frog in the water, because I know what's next, because I have a brain, because I can look at history and I don't want to repeat it. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, you literally are the very definition of what insanity is. And so you're sitting there in that water going, hey, this ain't so bad. This ain't so bad. Well, you're headed for the boiling point through which you will not survive. So it is no measure of good mental health to be considered well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. You want to be well adjusted to this sick society? You want to not be shocked by this sick society? You want to have nothing just infuriate you and enrage you? Then go ahead and give away your humanity. I can't do it. I have to be honest with it. To thine own self be true. I got to be true to myself. So I want to show you something here. First of all, the reason I have this on the screen is because these are the words of Kissinger as recorded in the Wall Street Journal. He says the coronavirus pandemic will forever alter the world order. And we know what world order Kissinger's talking about. He's the one that propagated it and foisted it back in 73 when he got back with the OPEC nations and King Faisal Him and Nixon got up there and pegged the United States currency as the world reserve currency, decoupled it from gold back in 1971, August 1971. It became a floating currency. It started crashing. Oh, we got to pin it on something. Let's put it on oil. Let's give the Saudis the dollar, and they have to use our dollar, and we'll give them the strength and military might to protect their oil fields. Thus, we have the petrodollar. That's the only reason it hasn't crashed. That's the only reason the dollar has survived all these decades, is because it is not just a dollar, it's the petrodollar. It's a fiat currency Ponzi scheme pegged to OPEC, pegged to the Saudis, backed by the sheer brute force and strength of the U.S. military, and that's the only reason, because we're forcing other nations to use our currency so that they can keep their nations going with energy, cheap energy of oil. They have to convert their currencies with our currencies. That ensures a constant supply, a constant demand of US dollars. If that demand wasn't there, we would have long ago forsaken the dollar. That's the only reason we got it. And when was the last time you heard Lion Brian Williams or Jake the Snake Tapper or Don Lemon or Little Brian Stelter or any of these myriad of teleprompter reading corporate puppets talk to you about what's really going on with our currency and how dishonest and evil and downright immoral the Federal Reserve is? And the fact that that's the biggest virus on this, not just in this country, but in the world. Central banking is the most virulent form of any pandemic, natural disaster, anything combined. Because that's the only reason we can go off to war, is having easy credit and unsound, dishonest money. That's the only way. Just print it into existence, and now they don't even bother to roll the presses. They just type zeros and ones into Credit Suisse's bank account or to Goldman Sachs's bank account, courtesy of Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, who's the fox in control of the hen house. Don't worry, we'll investigate ourselves and we'll get right back with you. Your wait time is 5 hours. Would you like to stay on hold? We can call you back and let you know after we've investigated ourselves. The fox goes, don't worry, we'll take stock of all the dead chickens you said you found and we'll get back with you and let you know what the cause was. Amazing. And we let it happen on our watch. We could have done something about it, but we were too busy. Distracted, deceived, divided, and therefore conquered by mainstream media and all the government functionaries out there who hate our ever-living guts and don't think for a second that they don't, because AOC doesn't love you. She hates you. Cenk Uygur, with his socialist propaganda progressive platform, does not care about you, doesn't care about truth, doesn't care about morality. Therefore, he hates humankind and his own family. Anna Kasparian, Jake Tapper, Faux News, MSLSD, the Communist News Network, Republicans, Democrats, they don't give a damn about you because they're just out there for them. They don't care. Kissinger, the coronavirus pandemic will forever alter the world. The U.S. must protect its citizens. I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Yeah, right. Like we believe that. Yeah, we're stupid enough to believe that. Well, I guess we do. We're locked in our houses, closing our businesses, going broke, going hungry, standing in bread lines. This isn't a socialist country. Can't wait to get back to that next football game where I can sing, oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Let me get back in here. Can you guys hear me still? Thanks for joining me, guys. Super humbling. When I see one person in the chat room, I'm like, amazing. I'm amazed. All right, cool. Yeah, we need to change that anthem. O'er the land of the free and the home of the slave. Before we get into this, okay, Cerveza bug. There, did I do okay, YouTube? Was I compliant? Did I disengage from hate speech? Okay. The Cerveza bug pandemic will ever change the world order, says this guy. I probably shouldn't have said his name at first. Probably not the most highly moral person on the face of the earth. How about that for putting it nicely? How about that? Probably not the most moral person on the face of the planet. Here's what I wanted to get at. We're going to watch this video, and you, if you have any humanity left, will be 100% shocked. I guarantee it. And then I'm going to show you another little tidbit of information that's going on with our society. And then I'm going to give you the social and societal underpinnings that makes what you're about to see happen, and you will be absolutely shocked. You got to stay tuned. And if I could ask you to do anything, please, if you get something positive out of this content, if you think that a shred of anything that I say is in line or consistent with the truth, logic, and morality and frickin' basic human love and compassion for your neighbor, please hit the like button and give it a share with everybody you know, because everybody's got to see this. Everybody. And we have to build up a resistance, an immunity, and an intolerance to what you're about to see. Man handcuffed in front of daughter. This is reported from Fox 21 News. This was released yesterday. What's today? The 7th? Yeah, yesterday. Man handcuffed. If you've heard this, don't stay tuned. You ain't seen nothing yet. Man handcuffed in front of daughter at Colorado Park for allegedly violating social distancing measures. I just feel like saying that because it's just so stupid. Let's watch this video. Let me play a couple seconds of this, and you tell me if you can hear system audio before I proceed.
Police are apparently arresting a dad.
Oh, I can't hear it. Let me see. Why can't I hear it? All right, can you guys hear that? Let me go into the chat room here. Can you guys hear system audio? Can hear. I'm back. Let's see. Let me just get a couple more. Good. Okay, 5x5. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm going to play this back. Let's listen to this. Maybe not in its entirety because I got to do the fair use thing and interrupt, but let's try to work our way through this. This is just gut-wrenching tough.
Apparently arresting a dad for throwing a ball to his daughter.
It was a former city council member who could not believe what he was recording.
In a park of about, 30, 40 acres. But apparently that is not allowed by Brighton.
Well, if you don't give us your information, we're going to put you in handcuffs in front of your 6-year-old daughter.
Matt Mooney is the 33-year-old dad who assured his daughter they were doing nothing wrong when police approached and told them they were violating the state's social distancing guideline.
She's like, Daddy, I don't want you to get arrested. And at this point, I'm thinking, there's no way they're going to arrest me. There's no way. This is insane. And, so I'm telling her, I'm like, don't worry.
I'm glad he used that word. I mean, I don't want to overuse the word, but it's literally insane to be in a park with your daughter playing catch or whatever, your daughter. And just think about the insanity of this. You and your daughter, your family live under the same roof, not practicing social distancing, and you go out to the park and not practice the very thing you didn't practice when you were under the roof of your house. But since you're out in the open, cops, human beings with badges and costumes, feel they have the liberty, as they're not social distancing, to walk up to two other human beings who aren't harming anybody, threatening to harm anybody, stealing somebody's stuff, and feel like they can intervene in the daily life of an American. And these are Americans wearing badges and costumes, not just, these aren't foreign UN troops going, you need to stop doing this. Fellow human beings who happen to be Americans who have a badge, a uniform, and the authority of the state. Unbelievable.
Don't worry, Daddy's not going to get arrested. I've done nothing wrong. Don't worry about it. And then they arrest me.
The sign at Donaldson Park says closed, but in smaller print says in groups of no more than 4 persons, parks remain.
And let me just say, that's BS too. Any sign that limits your activity at all is frickin' BS. And I'm not sitting here, YouTube, asserting anything or calling for anything or wanting anybody harmed. But maybe it would be a good idea to learn from history and find out that when people obeyed in the slightest edicts and regulations and rules their government laid down, it didn't end so well for them. Well, unless if you want to look on the positive side, they got a free ride. They got a free boxcar ride to the nearest internment camp. Oh, sorry, re-education camp, where they got a nice little shower and some meals. Oh, I forgot the shower was filled with chlorine, and they didn't. Oh, that's right, they didn't make it out of the shower to make it to the dinner table.
Open for walking, hiking, biking, running, and similar activities. Matt was just there with his wife and 6-year-old. He says it was the officers who were violating social distancing guidelines.
Hey, Frank, I can see the cops talking. Hey, Frank, I got a great idea. What's that? Hey, let's ruin that family's life and arrest that dad in front of his little 6-year-old and his wife. Hey, that's a good idea, because I'd want that done to my 6-year-old and my wife. Where's the humanity? Where's the shock? Where's the outrage? You've got to be kidding me. Fellow Americans who happen to wear a uniform, I plead with you again, as I've done in the last 3 of my live streams. If you're in the military or ex-military or ex-cop or current cop, please don the garb of humanity. Get out of your uniform for a second. Realize, holy crap, I can't be an order follower, because if I'm an order follower, I'm a conformist. I'm an evil, immoral conformist, because a conformist just does what he's told. Oh, social distancing? Oh, yeah, if I see anybody who's social distancing, I reserve the right as a human being to go up and ruin somebody's life and find them and cage them and kidnap them and throw them in the back of my squad car. That's a conformist. They do what they're told, regardless of if it's right. This isn't right, guys. Everybody knows this isn't right. But somehow it becomes legitimate and right because of an authority figure. We're going to talk about the authority figure. You guys got to stay around. You think you know something about psychology? I thought I knew, before I woke up this morning, I thought I knew something about psychology. I'm learning something every day. You know what the key thing I'm learning every day? Me and Trish had this conversation outside when we were working out. Oh, were we working out outside? Oh, sorry, YouTube. I didn't mean outside. I meant on the veranda under the porched area in my house. When me and Trish were working out, we were talking about how easy it is for people to just obey because the person who told you to do something is just authority. I'll just take their word for it. Don't question it. Don't assert your opinion. Just do it. Just lay down. do what they tell you to do.
During this whole contact, none of the officers had masks on. None of them had gloves on. And they're in my face, handcuffing me. They're touching me.
I certainly don't think it's appropriate for a father to be handcuffed in front of his family.
Kirby Waller.
You think? I don't think. We got to get away from belief. Belief is the enemy of knowledge. It's not right. Don't say, I don't think, I don't believe. Just say, this ain't freaking right. Take a hard stand, draw the line. Because when you say, I believe, I think, I feel, it leaves it open for, that's just your opinion. Anybody can have another, an opinion just as legitimate. No, there is no legitimate opinion saying that a group of men who aren't practicing social distancing can walk up to this family and pretty much decimate their lives, violate them, kidnap them, cage them, fine them for doing the very things that the badged law enforcers aren't doing. Amazing, man. The soupy mixture of concrete hypocrisy couldn't be more solid and more thick. Yes, I'm shocked. Yes, I've seen this before, but I'm still shocked. I can't help but be shocked.
Took the cell phone footage and shared it with the problem solvers.
He's being taken away by the Brighton police for playing softball with his daughter in an empty park.
I think that there certainly needs to be an investigation of the incident and an explanation to...
I think investigation? Who's going to investigate? Don't worry, the Brighton police have got you covered. They'll investigate themselves and they'll get back with you and nothing will ever happen. Oops, sorry, we'll let you out. No, that don't fly. Okay, let's say this. Let's say you, a non-uniformed, non-badged, non-police officer, non-government official, walked up to somebody at a park and did the very thing that those cops did. What do you think would happen to you? Hell yeah, you'd go to jail. Hell yeah, society would be against you because for some reason there's a veil that lifts when you got a uniform, a badge, and a gun in the authority of the states. For some reason it changes things when it really doesn't. It's the exact same thing. Magic costumes don't grant special rights. I don't know why this just cleared out on me. That's pretty much it. They threw him in the back of a cop car, and I think 10 minutes later they let him go or something. But this is the Brighton, Colorado Police Department. Let me see if I'm still on here. This is the Brighton, Colorado Police Department. Matter of fact, let's see. Brighton, Colorado Police Department. What's your phone number? Brighton Police Department, 25 Google reviews, 3.7. I mean, that's better than a lot of them I've seen. Phone number, 303-655-2300. That's 303-655-2300. 303-655-2300. Not saying you should call. Just saying maybe, I don't know, grab a pen and a piece of paper. Oh, he's got a dry cough. He's got cerveza bug. Address 3401 East Bromley Lane, Brighton, Colorado, 80601. Maybe they need a little visit on their Google reviews page. Maybe have a little conversation about their humanity or lack thereof. This one right here was just sent to me by Trish right after I messed up my first live stream. This guy Nicholas Somberg says, "I am now representing." Can you see that? Sorry, guys. Let me do this. Let me increase the size here so you can see. There we go. I am now representing two innocent people for an alleged violation of this unconstitutional executive order. And, how about, let's just call it immoral. I don't know why I just developed this cough. These individuals were engaging in outdoor recreational activity in a private backyard consistent with the order. 2 Madison Heights Police Department. Oh, Madison Heights? Hang on, let's just go ahead and open that. Madison Heights. Let's see. I can put that on the back burner. Two Madison Heights Police Department officers walked into the backyard without any warning or search warrant and cited them both for criminal offenses on their own property. Neither person has any criminal record and are now facing 93 days in a cage. We're removing all of your freedom. Why? Because you weren't engaging in social distancing practices in your own freaking backyard. I'm taking both cases pro bono. He's working for free. Edit. Yes, I see that there is a local ordinance box checked and also the 6040 code. No idea why these are there. Probably a typo by the police. Yes, this is a real case. Here's the case right here. Madison Heights Police Department. Here you go. Let's see if we can get some contact information on this. Let's see. Where's their link? Here we go. Madison Heights Police Department, 248-585-2100. Hey, Americans, maybe, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe I'll call. You don't have to. And just ask them, what the hell are you guys doing? Is this Nazi Germany? Are we back in the 1930s? Did I miss something? Have we slipped off into non-America land? America with a K? Madison Heights, Michigan, 248-585-2100. 248-585-2100. Website, madisonheights.org. Unbelievable. If somebody can, one of the admins can put their link in there. We need to hold people to account, not departments. People who wear a badge, a uniform, and a gun should be the ones who are held liable when they cause somebody harm, when they leave a real victim. That's what should happen. Taxpayers should not be footing the bill so that they can just, rest easy in their blanket of qualified immunity. It's just BS, man. Let's bring justice back to this world. Real justice. Now, let me show you that, like I told you, I'm gonna show you the psychological underpinnings. And please, if you've heard this before, resist the temptation to go, oh, yeah, I know all about this, because I thought I did. There are 3 components of what I'm about to show you that is just completely mind-blowing. And let me just make sure the live stream's still going here. 2,589. Thanks, guys, for joining. And thank you for all the super chats. I will get with those in a second. Everything good? Yeah, 248-585-2100, Madison Heights, Michigan Police Department. Maybe if you guys call, maybe record it. I'll slap it on a video and see what those people say. Be kind, be courteous. There's no need to be ugly. We don't need more ugliness in the world. But be firm. Go, hey, If I move to Madison Heights, here's an example. If I move to Madison Heights, officer, can I expect to be violated like you violated these guys' rights? Maybe that'd be a good question to ask them. If me and my family were thinking about moving to Madison Heights, Michigan, is it a good place to live? I mean, will I be secure in my person's houses, papers, and effects against illegal searches and seizures? Well, just it's yes or no. How can you assure me that I will be safe when these people weren't safe? Can you explain that? Has the Constitution been suspended? Has your critical thinking gone out the window, officer? Let me talk. I want to talk to your superior. How about that as an example? Thanks, Shield. Yeah, please hit that like button, guys. It helps a lot. It helps combat the algorithm. All right, here's what we're going to talk about. This is an identifier of the underpinnings, the psychological underpinnings of what goes on in the human mind that this is the only way I can describe it, that allows a man or a woman, a human being, they're human beings just like us. I want to get through to cops. I want to get through to the military. I want you guys on our side. And by our, I mean just people who love freedom, people who go by the regular tenets of humanity. It's never right to initiate unjust force and violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong, and nobody has a higher claim over your life and property than you. I think we can all agree on that. Let me just ask you, does anybody have a higher claim over your life and your property than you? Does anybody have a legitimate moral right to rule you and take your stuff and expect that you have a moral obligation to obey their rulership, even though they're just a regular human being, or risk being punished? Answer those questions. Because I know what the answer is if you're honest with yourself. No, nobody has a higher claim over my life and property than me. I'm responsible for governing myself. I don't need somebody else to govern me. I don't need a ruler because I think slavery is immoral. And I think most people, I mean, all people who are sane will say that slavery is utterly wrong. Why is it wrong? It's wrong because it's immoral. Why is it immoral? Because you wouldn't want a ruler ruling you without your consent and against your will. That alone is what makes it wrong. You don't need scripture. You don't need the Bhagavad Gita. You don't need the Quran. You don't need the Old Testament. You don't need the New Testament. You don't need an edict from government. You don't need laws to be made. You don't need to be the legislative process to have been gone through. You don't need a judge to rubber stamp it. You know in your heart of hearts, because you're a human being, that it is absolutely immoral for somebody to come up to you and do something without your will and against your consent. And the reason it's wrong is because the person who's doing that to you would not want that done to themselves. Therefore, the only law, if you want to call it, it's a natural law, that you need in this world is literally the golden rule. And you don't need a Bible or a holy book or some legislative act to impress upon you that this is somehow legitimate, because you already know it is. And your neighbor knows it is. And the president of the United States knows it is. And the prime minister of the UK and Queen Elizabeth knows it is. Even though people are at certain levels of deception, having deceived themselves to thinking, no, I can be a monarch. I can be a ruler because I'm some kind of special person. No, you're not. No, you're not. Everybody who's honest with themselves and does not have a heart that is mucked and raked in confusion and deception can answer honestly that no, I don't have a higher claim over somebody's life and property than you, and therefore nobody has one over me. And if I ever see anybody transgressing that simple precept, they're obviously doing something wrong, and we all can recognize it. I don't care. You can put whatever nice sounding title in front of your name. Congressman so-and-so, Senator so-and-so, President so-and-so, Officer so-and-so. It doesn't change the fact that it's utterly immoral for one human being to transgress and trample on the rights of another human being. Taking away their personal protective device. You don't have the right in this zone to personally protect yourself, and we're going to protect everybody from you. Why? Because I'm a good guy with a gun who's going to throw down a bad guy with a gun, and you won't even have to call 911. It doesn't make any sense. Not only that, your law, which what is a law? It's just the opinions of politicians backed by the threat of force. Every law, whether it's a jaywalking ticket or a misdemeanor or a felony, every law is just an opinion of a politician that's backed by the threat of force and violence. If you transgress this, if you jaywalk, you get a $62 ticket. And we're going to force you to pay. And if you don't pay, we're going to throw your ass into a cage. Backed by the threat of force. Every single law. Everyone. Period. That's what makes society bad. The more laws you have stacked on top of each other, the less freedom you have. That's why Congress is the opposite of progress. Because you regress when Congress is in session. Because the more laws they make, the more enslaved you become. And the irony there, the hypocritical irony, is that they say they're there passing laws to secure your freedom when it's doing the exact opposite. But Brian, the stimulus package freed us up. They're just going to give us $1,200. No, I went to the store the other day. The prices have already risen. Can you imagine what it's going to be in 6, 8, 10, 12 months? There's a payday someday. They will exact that out of your hide until the cows come home and your posterity. That $1,200 is going to cost you so much more. Because you didn't want to endure the pain right now of standing for our freaking freedoms and saying, screw your check. You're going to hyperinflate my currency and the money that I've already worked for and saved for and the assets that I've accumulated in my life through the sweat of my own brow. You're ripping that from me by signing some freaking edict of $6.2 trillion and then you ask for another $2 trillion and you're out there bailing out your corporate buddies. You know that's what it is. So here's the psychological underpinnings that allow somebody in a uniform, a regular human being like you and me, that allows somebody that justifies in their mind walking up to a man and his daughter and his wife and throwing that guy's butt in handcuffs, kidnapping him, throw him in the back of the car. What allows somebody to do that? Let me introduce you, if you haven't already heard it, of the Milgram experiment. And guys, I know a lot of you guys have already heard of this, but stay tuned because you ain't seen nothing yet. There are some nuances to this experiment that I knew. I've read about this. I've done videos on this, guys. And I don't know if I didn't know it or if I forgot about it. Maybe I forgot. I don't know. It's shocking. It's amazing. This is the very kernel and psychological bedrock from which people operate and justify in their own minds that they can do certain heinous acts against their fellow human being and walk away scot-free. No consequences. Let me just check and make sure I'm still on here. What's up, Tom? What's on Beyond Awake? Nicaru, Nasfair, Planet, Jennifer, Tribe, Disciple of Messiah. What's up, guys? Jeff is here. Audits is here. And Sig Sauer here. Manny. What's up, guys? Okay, here we go. Let me introduce you to the Milgram experiment. Hold on to your hats and prepare to be frickin' shocked. The Milgram experiment on obedience to authority figures, and that's exactly what it was a series of psychological studies experiments conducted by Yale University. I know that's an eye roller right there, but check this out, because what he unearthed in the psychological makeup of humanity it's literally priceless. So what happens is, here, just remember this diagram. This E, let me get my head out of the way there. This E right here, this is the experimenter. This is the authority figure. This T, this is the guy who they put out an ad and said, "Hey, we've got something. We're going to pay you $4 an hour." Back then in 1961, that was a lot of money. We want to run these tests and experiments. This guy right here is an actor. And I'm going to show you. It says, experimenter orders the teacher, the subject of the experiment, to give what the teacher believes are painful electrical shocks to the learner, who is actually an actor or a confederate. The subject is led to believe that for each wrong answer, because the teacher, who's the guy who's responding to the ad, who's getting paid $4 an hour, and he's supposed to listen to what the authority figure has to say, this guy is going to administer an electric shock for every wrong answer that the learner on the other side of this wall, they don't see each other. There's a wall right here. Oops, let's see, let me put that down. There's a wall right here. They don't see each other, but he's going to be able to hear through a soundtrack of shocking somebody and the resultant, oh man, But there's more. There's a nuance to this that I didn't realize, because the guy who's the teacher literally does not realize that he is the experiment. The guy who becomes the teacher, who answered the ad, thinks that he's helping the experimenter with an experiment. The experimenter and the learner are both in on it, and the teacher isn't. You have to keep that in mind, but it goes even deeper than that. That was kind of the limit of my knowledge. I didn't realize there was a nuance to this that makes it even more powerful. Let me show you this. All right. By the way, let me just put this down. Here's the public announcement. We will pay you $4 for 1 hour of your time, persons needed for a study of memory. So they're thinking that they're going to help in this memory study. So here's the procedure. 3 individuals took part in each session of the experiment. Number 1, the experimenter, who is in charge of the session. The teacher, a volunteer for a single session. The teachers were led to believe that they were merely assisting, whereas they were the actual subjects of the experiment. The learner, an actor and a confederate of the experimenter, pretends to be the volunteer. The subject and an actor arrive at the session together. Okay, so the subject and the actor, this is super important, guys. The subject and the actor, the subject becomes the teacher, and he's the guy that the experiment's all about, and the actor arrive at the same time, like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what's going on? How's it going? All looking totally believable. The experimenter told them, the experimenter's the authority figure, just to keep everything straight, told them that they were taking part in a scientific study of memory and learning to see what the effect of punishment is on a subject's ability to memorize content. Also, he was always clarified. Wait a second. Can you guys see this? He was always clarified that the payment for their participation, this is one of the 3 parts I didn't know. He was always clarified, this guy who becomes the teacher, that the payment for their participation in the experiment was secured regardless of its development. In other words, you could be there for a minute, 2 minutes, you could go through just a couple things, and you're going to get paid. Either way, you're going to get paid. So it wasn't a matter of, hey, if you quit this, there was nothing dangling over the head of, if you quit this, we ain't paying you. The payment would be secured. You're going to get your money. He was always clarified that the payment for the participation, this is super important, guys, and the experiment was secured regardless of its development. The subject and anchor drew I didn't know this either. The subject and actor drew slips of paper to determine their roles. Unknown to the subject, both slips said teacher. This is part 2 that I wasn't aware of. Both of them look like they come in just like, hey, nonchalant. We're all answering this ad. I'm you, you're me. Hey, we're all in this together. They both get slips of paper, and both of them have teacher on it. That means the guy that they're really intending to do the experiment on will always be the teacher, but he doesn't know that the actor got a teacher too, just to make sure that the intended teacher becomes the teacher. This further solidifies in their mind, that in the mind of the subject, that this is all legit. This is all above board. This guy's thinking, I could have just as easily become the learner. I could just as easily have sat in that chair and got shocked, but I happen to draw teacher. So that adds to the legitimacy. Unknown to the subject, both slips said teacher. The actor would always claim to have drawn the slip that read learner, thus guaranteeing that the subject would always be the teacher. Next, the teacher, that's the subject, and the learner, that's the actor, were taken into an adjacent room where the learner was strapped into what appeared to be an electric chair. The experimenter told the participants this was to ensure that the learner would not escape. And all these mental hooks are embedded in the mind of the subject. And he still goes through with this stuff anyway. It's just fascinating. In a later variation of the experiment, the confederate, or the actor, would eventually plead for mercy and yell that he had a heart condition. At some point prior to the actual test, the teacher was given a sample electric shock from the electric shock generator in order to experience firsthand what the shock that the learner would supposedly receive during the experiment would feel like. In other words, this teacher, the subject, who's part of the experiment, realizes that, hey, the thing that I'm giving to this guy, I just felt myself. This is freaking legit. This is real. He thinks in his mind, I'm really giving this person a shock, when he's really not, but he doesn't know that. So here we go. The teacher and learner, can you guys see that? Let me just get back into the chat and make sure you guys, this is so fascinating. Okay, we good, guys? Let me see. We good? 5 by 5? Okay, cool. I just didn't want to, I wanted to make sure that it doesn't happen like it happened last time where I'm talking for 9 minutes and nobody hears me. The teacher and the learner were then separated such that they could communicate but not see each other. That's this wall right here. That's this wall. So they can hear each other and they can communicate, but they can't see each other. Let me get back to my screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. The teacher was then given a list of word pairs that he was to teach the learner. The teacher began to read the list of word pairs to the learner. The teacher would then read the first word of each pair and read 4 possible answers. The learner would press the button to indicate his response. If the answer was incorrect, the teacher would administer a shock, or what he thought was a shock, to the learner, with the voltage increasing 15-volt increments for each wrong answer. If correct, the teacher would read the next word pair. So if the learner did good, the actor on the other side of the thing, if he did good, they'd proceed. If he made an error, a shock. And then the next error, a 15 plus 15-volt shock more, all the way up. The subjects believed that for each wrong answer, the learner was receiving actual shocks. In reality, there were no shocks at all. After the learner was separated from the teacher, the learner set up a tape recorder integrated with the electroshock generator. Imagine, this is back in 1961, very low tech, but they had this all planned out, which played pre-recorded sounds for each shock level. So you can see the actual footage of this. I'm not going to play it because I think it's copyrighted and I'll get my channel taken down. But you can hear when he presses the button or does what he does, it goes zzz, zzz. So it makes everything's just solidifying the reality into this teacher's mind. As the voltage of the fake shocks increases, the learner began making audible protests like banging repeatedly on the wall. Oh man, come on. Separating him from the teacher. When the highest voltages were reached, the learner fell silent. If at any time the teacher indicated a desire to halt the experiment, check this out, and it happened a lot. The experimenter was instructed to give specific verbal prods, not commands, just prods. Like here, check this out. The prods were in this order. Please continue. The experiment requires that you continue. It is absolutely essential that you continue. You have no other choice. You must go on. Those are the prods. If the subject still wished to stop, let me see if you can see this. If the subject still wished to stop after all 4 successive verbal prods, the experiment was halted. Otherwise, it was halted after the subject had given the maximum 450-volt shock 3 times. That's another aspect. 3 times in succession. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. It really solidified where the teacher or the subject's mind was in all this. The experimenter, let me see. The experimenter also had prods to use if the teacher made specific comments. If the teacher asked whether the learner might suffer permanent physical harm, the experimenter replied, "Although the shocks may be painful, there is no permanent tissue damage, so please go on." Because the psychological operators and the social engineers know how we're wired. They know if we hear the voice of an expert or an authority, we're more apt to just turn our minds off and just go, okay, go with the flow. I believe you. If the teacher said that the learner clearly wants to stop, the experimenter replied, think about this. The subject is saying, hey, the learner really, he's feeling uncomfortable. This ain't looking too good for him. Let's just stop. The experimenter replied, whether the learner likes it or not, you must go on until he has learned all the word pairs correctly. So please go on. And this is very important, guys. Wait till you see the results, the numbers results of this test. It's mind-blowing, literally mind-blowing. So I'm going to go through the predictions, but here's what Milgram actually wrote in The Perils of Obedience in his articles based on this subject. And listen to what he says, and then we're going to get with the stats and what the actual outcome was. The legal and philosophic, sorry, I had a total mind blank on that word. The legal and philosophic aspects of obedience are of enormous importance. But they say very little about how most people behave in concrete situations. That's super important. I set up a simple experiment at Yale University to test how much pain an ordinary citizen would inflict on another person simply because he was ordered to by an experimental scientist. Stark authority was pitted against the subject or the participant's strongest moral imperatives against hurting others, because everybody knows. You learn this in first grade. You learn this when you were a little kid. Don't hurt others and don't take people's stuff if they haven't harmed you or taken your stuff. Don't do it. Everybody has that moral imperative inside of them. It's just some people have gotten so far gone and their conscience has become so seared that moral imperative, although still there in kernel form, is just completely cemented over. It's like, cementing over a pothole in a street. It's hidden from view. It's not even part of the equation anymore. Let's see. The strongest moral imperatives against hurting others, and with the subject or participant's ears ringing with the screams of the victims, authority won more often than not. I'm going to read that again. Stark authority was pitted against the subject's strongest moral imperatives against hurting others, because it's wrong to hurt others. And with the subject or the participant, the actor's ears ringing, the subject, the teacher's ears ringing with the screams of the victims that they're given the electric shock therapy to. Authority won more often than not. The extreme willingness of adults to go to almost any lengths on the command of an authority constitutes the chief finding of the study and the fact most urgently demanding explanation. And check this out. Ordinary people simply doing their jobs. Well, I'm just doing what they told me to do. I'm just doing my job. Those are my orders, and those are the orders I have to carry. I know I'm ruining your life. I know I'm kidnapping you. I know that I'm stealing from you. I know I'm causing a major hardship on you. I know I zapped you in the testicles with my taser. I know I'm inflicting severe damage when I step on your head and your neck and break your bones. But those are my orders. I got to subdue you at all costs. Stop resisting. Just comply. Obey. Stop resisting. I'm the authority. You need to obey my word. I'm just following orders. I'm just following orders. It didn't stick at Nuremberg for the Nazis, and it doesn't legitimately stick on anybody. Simply doing their jobs and without any particular hostility on their part. Ordinary people simply doing their jobs and without any particular hostility on their part can become agents in a terrible, destructive process without any particular hostility. In other words, they're just calmly delivering the shocks up to and including death. They're not mad. They have no animosity toward the person. They're just following orders, doing it coldly, callously, unthinking, no critical thinking, gone, out to lunch, dust in the attic, elevator doesn't go all the way to the top. Amazing. Moreover, even when the destructive effects of their work becomes patently clear, and it does when people are going, God, I have a heart condition, and they're asked to carry out actions incompatible with fundamental standards of morality, relatively few people have the resources, that's the mental and spiritual and moral acumen needed to resist authority. I'm going to read that again too. Even when the destructive effects of their work becomes patently clear, let me just remind you why we're talking about this. These cops in this park, the destructive results of their activities becomes patently clear. Arresting a guy. Look at this. These guys are why we're talking about this. Not just these particular guys, but anybody in a uniform, anybody who's a politician, anybody who's in a position of authority that thinks that they can just willy-nilly, because somebody told them to or it was written down somewhere. That's our policy. That's how we do things around here. Those are just my orders. Those are my marching directives, and I got to carry them out. I have to suspend all critical thinking and even put my humanity on the shelf. Any compassion that I would have ever had for my fellow human beings is now in suspended animation so that I can just calmly and coldly and calculatingly do this heinous act. Well, that's just what I got to do. Even though they know they wouldn't want that done to them, their moms, they wouldn't want that done to their dads, they wouldn't want that done to anybody in their lives that they love, their wife, their significant other, their husband, their children, but they're going to do it to somebody else, knowing full well that what they're doing is wrong, but they're going to do it because authority. Authority. That's why I'm constantly saying on this channel, there is no legitimate authority. You control your own life. You govern the affairs of your own conduct. You feel the repercussions for your own mistakes. You and you alone. When a gunman walks into a school or a post office or a bank and starts blowing people away, you do not penalize the rest of society by taking away their personal protection devices or villainizing a black, scary AR-15 style rifle that belongs on the battlefield. It's messed up, man. And the masses believe it. And here's why they do. Moreover, even when the destructive effects of their work becomes patently clear and they are asked to carry out actions incompatible with the fundamental standards of morality, relatively few people, you'll find out how many people, have the resources needed to resist authority. Well, guess what the results were? Check this out. Let me see. Did I skip it? Here we go. This is the mind blower. In Milgram's first set of experiments, 65%, that's 26 out of 40 of experiment participants administered the experiment's final massive 450 volt shock. Let's just stop there. 65% delivered, knowingly, intentionally delivered, not just one, but 3 fatal 450 volt shocks because some guy in a lab coat or some expert or some authority told him we must go on. The show must go on. You have to follow your orders. No threats, just you got to do it. Why do I have to do it? I don't have to give you a reason, just do it. Okay, I'll do it. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Ah! It's a mind blower and shocking. And this is why the reason I'm going over this is why we are where we are as a society. Because we've taken the word for experts. We've believed the authorities. We've submitted, we've handed our own minds over to the mudding mess that is cognitive dissonance as we're drinking the psychopath's Kool-Aid and checking into the cult of personality. Amazing. In all administered shocks of at least 300 volts, subjects were uncomfortable doing so and displayed varying degrees of tension and stress. These signs included sweating. They knew it was wrong. Their bodies started crying out to their minds and their souls going, you've got to be kidding. Are you going to continue doing this? You're delivering painful shocks just because somebody got a wrong answer because somebody in a lab coat told you to keep going. The show must go on. These signs include sweating, trembling, shuddering, biting their lips, groaning, and digging their fingernails into their skin. And some were even having nervous laughing fits or seizures. And you can look at, maybe somebody can put the links to this actual experiment because they recorded it. And you can see the guys going, oh my God, are you sure I should be... They're just super uncomfortable. It looks like one guy looks like he's going to pass out. This is why we're going through this psychological underpinning, this foundation from which 65%, or probably more at this point, because we've been so distracted, deceived, and divided by mainstream, lamestream media nonsense and government psychopathy for decades and decades, and 15,000-hour indoctrination government school propaganda. People can't even think straight. And this isn't even about money. They were going to get paid anyway. They could have left any time. That's how bad it is. You would think there'd be some carrot dangling, but there wasn't. It's just because somebody told you to do it. It's not, if you do this, I'll give you $1 million. It's not, if you do this, I'll set you up in a nice mansion and give you a nice, bright, shiny car and a good job for the rest of your life. It's do it because you got to do it. What is it they said? Do it because... Please continue. The experiment requires that you continue. It's absolutely essential that you continue. You have no other choice, but you must go on. No reason behind it. Just, this is part of the experiment. Don't question it. Just do it. Subjects were uncomfortable in doing so. Let's see, nervous fits or seizures. Every participant paused the experiment at least once to question it. Everyone paused it. Just hold on a second. Oh, let me gather my thoughts. And even in the midst of stepping back, pulling back the reins and just pausing for a second, they still delivered the fatal blow. My jaw, it's just, Shocking. Most continued after being assured by the experimenter. Some said they would refund them. Some said here, look, I'll refund the money that they were paid for. Look, I'll give it back to you. And they're like, just, no, keep the money, but we got to go on. And then they did it anyway. Most continued after being assured by the experimenter. So that's what I want to leave on right there. That's my end note for this video. Most were continued to do some absolutely heinous act because they were assured by the experimenter. You just got to go on. I don't have to give you a reason for it. You just got to go on. This is why we allowed a Federal Reserve back in 1913. Amschel Rothschild says, give me control over a nation's money. I don't give a damn who makes the laws. I don't care it doesn't matter to me who the politicians are. If I have control over a nation's money supply, they come to me. They lick my boots. They submit to me. They follow my rules. And any rules that they would make work in my favor. I don't give a damn. We gave up our freaking American spirit in 1913. And ever since then, nobody wants to talk about the more virulent. See, we went through supposedly the influenza thing in 1918, the Spanish flu, which is really the Fort Riley, Kansas flu, if you look into it. I'm going to stop calling it the Spanish flu. It's the Fort Riley, Kansas flu. Brought to you by the American government, because we're here to help. Anytime you see government, you should just automatically see the word slavery. Anytime you see a government functionary, you should see a demon with chains and they're coming after you with a padlock and they want to lock you up. They want to shut you up. They want to censor you. They want to eradicate you. They want to eliminate you. You're their resistance and they got to get you out of the way. They got to get you in your house. They got to get you submitting to their rules. They got to get you in their breadline. If you're in somebody's breadline, you're not in control. They are. And they're not giving you nothing. They're just keeping you alive long enough so they can bleed more time and labor and energies out of you. Don't kid yourselves. They're not giving you food because they care about you. They have something vested in you and they want something. They will exact their pound of flesh. Never mind that. They will exact all your flesh and all your bones and all your tendons and all your brain matter and your heart capacity and your lungs. And by the way, when they get done with you, while they're feasting on you, those vultures, they're feasting on your family. Everybody that you love, anything that you ever care about, they want to take it down. They want to bring in the New World Order. They want to bring in a one world currency. They want to make this a cashless society. They want to give you mandatory vaccinations. They want to flip on the 60, the electronic field. Let's put it that way. Because I can't say the FIVEG thing. Or you trip off algos and you disturb the YouTube gods and they demonetize you and they deplatform you and they deperson you. Holy crap. Yeah, Tizzy Lego, whatever, bread and circuses. Voltaire said, give them bread and circuses and they shall never revolt. That's another reason they want you in the breadlines, because you're not going to revolt. You're not going to bite the hands that feed you. Well, I got news for you. You remember what Sam Adams said? If you love wealth greater than liberty, the tranquility of servitude rather than the animating contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or your arms. Crouch down and lick the hands with feed you. Stand in your breadline. Take your frickin' $1,200 check. See if I care. And may posterity forget that you were our countrymen. Because you weren't involved in the animating contest of freedom. You chose to lay down. You chose to stay in your house. You chose to submit. You chose to comply. You chose to take their fiat currency back in 1913. You chose not to prepare. You chose to be apathetic and indifferent toward what was going on. And you chose to look at everybody who had a different opinion as some kind of conspiracy theorist. In essence, we sort of deserve what we're getting. But but on the other hand, we can't let darkness rule the day. We can't. Businesses have to open back up, like ASAP. Not waiting for Easter. Not marching on Washington, 10 million. We got 10 million people marching. Marches don't do anything to secure individual freedoms. They don't do anything to bring politicians and law enforcers to justice. They don't do anything about the left versus right paradigm lie that's really degraded our society. Give them bread and circuses, and they shall never revolt. What was that other thing Voltaire said? He said, it's hard to free a fool from the chains they revere. As long as the lemmings love the comfort of their chains, they will never seek to be free. You could toss them a key, and they won't know or won't care that they could stick it in the lock and walk outside, because they don't want dangerous freedom. They want peaceful slavery, period. Lala Doodle says, stop thinking Great Depression, think Dark Ages. Yeah, another thing that's going to happen with the coming Great Depression, by the way, is not just massive people getting addicted to drugs and alcohol to escape the reality, not just the fact that domestic violence is shooting through the roof, not just that prices are going to go up and you're not even going to be able to afford to live and you're going to have to be in a socialist breadline. You may even see me there one day because I get so desperate that I got to feed my kids. That's where this is going, guys. People are going, yeah, I bet you cashed that $1,200 check. That's not about that. It's about how will we all get, it's not about onesies and twosies or dozens or hundreds or thousands or even parse millions. It's about everybody saying, frick, Republican and Demoplican. Screw the political process. I don't give a damn. How about nobody 2020? How about I want my life back? I want sound money. I want to stop the wars. I want to string up the bankers. Where's the tar and feathers? Where's that spirit? I'm not condemning or condoning anybody standing in a bread line because they're just at their wit. They don't know what to do. These cupboards are bare. We did all we could do, and now my kids are dying. That's where we're at. I can't even believe I'm saying this. I don't care how much money you got. It's worthless. Let me just let's feast our eyes on this real quick. Let me see. Just type in hyperinflation. Let's feast our eyes on this guy real quick. How about that? Let me just make that nice and big for us. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. Let me see. Look how much money I have. Look how many fiat currency notes that I have. No, that's not the one either. Yeah, here we go. That's the one. That's the one. More economical to burn banknotes to keep you warm than it is to buy wood. There we go. How much money do you have again? How much money did you say you had in the bank? Or under your mattress? Or in your wallet? How much? I don't care. I do not care. Where is that? Did I lose it? Doesn't matter. All that matters is freedom. Sorry, I had a little technical glitch there. And look at these little kids just stacking money. Look at that. This lady's burning money and these kids are stacking money. These kids use their money, not money, currency, sorry. Money as real value. Money is a store of value like gold, silver, palladium. You know, things that you actually have to expend time and effort and laboring energies to bring to market and produce. That has real labor, intrinsic value. I don't care how much money you have. We're all in this together. Rich, poor, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. Doesn't matter. Does not matter anymore. So yeah, I agree with you, Lala Doodle. Great Depression. Oh, the thing that it's not just about suicides rising and people becoming dependent on alcohol and drugs and the domestic violence numbers increasing. It's kidnapping. Humans will start kidnapping and trafficking other human beings so that they can generate enough income to feed their families. People will get desperate. Desperate people do desperate things, and you do not underestimate the power of stupid people and desperate people in large crowds, because that's the riots are coming. May not come this week or next week, but as the days pass, it's getting worse. Brian, you're fear-mongering. Yeah, okay, whatever. There's fear. You can sense fear in the air. You can see it on people's faces as they wear their masks because Fauci told them to, or the CDC told them to, or World Health Organization. Most of these people probably never even heard of the World Health Organization or the CDC until, just this last month. And now all of a sudden they're listening to those experts and they're doing what the experts say, and they're washing their hands 20 times a day, which is the exact opposite of what you probably should be doing, because now you're going to welcome germs. Oh God, this guy has no barrier against me. It's a free for all. Brian Ippolito says, I don't know if you knew, but your other channel is active again with 560,000 subs. Maybe it always has been, but I thought it was gone. Yeah. I know it's there. It's just, if you look at my Social Blade stats on it, it's a dead channel with 500,000 subscribers. Go figure. By the way, while I got you guys here, let me just, I fixed my problem last night with my website. Let me just get over here. This button right here works now on mobile and desktop. Please do me a favor right now, and admins, I just ask you to do this. Put my link, highimpactflix.com, in the chat room and subscribe to me, because I am on a spider's web thread of keeping this channel right here. Many people got demonetized yesterday. Videos were taken down. I've heard some channels were taken down. Live streams were interrupted because people were talking about this Cerveza bug and, giving their opinions. So we're not long for these platforms. We're not going to be here forever. So I'm making a pivot, and the way we can have direct contact, at least while we still have access to the internet, is through my highimpactflix.com website. Here's the thing right here. There it is. I just kind of blitzed the room with it. So it is fixed now. And a lot of you guys responded. A lot of you guys were frustrated because mobile wasn't working. I went on the back end and I found it accidentally, actually. No, not accidentally. Oh, I watched a YouTube video and I got it solved. Just got it resolved. There was some accidental and luck involved in there too, because I'm like, I am not a technically advanced individual either. Snapzilla Gorilla says, hey, Brian, do StreamYard sometime so we can join the call. Yeah, I might get with you and find out how to do that. I want to do that. Lately, it seems like Lucas is getting more freedom-minded. Amazing Lucas. I want to tell you, I so appreciate that guy having me on and fielding the questions that he did with the audience that he's got. That took a measure of courage that I appreciate. So amazing. If you haven't seen Amazing Lucas's channel, a little shout out to him there. Keep up the good work, man. Thanks, Snapzilla. Roger Buck says, I'm done. I'm going to carry a personal protection device everywhere. I suggest you all do the same. I do too, guys. I do too. Not giving you a directive, but that's definitely wise in this current climate that we find ourselves in. Shoot, that just jumped on me. What happened? I'm trying to read the super chats, guys. Sorry, something just glitched. Okay, National Dossier says, set up registration on your site. We need a safe house in case YouTube goes down or ban. I'm working on that. I can help if you need. We must organize outside of these sites. Yeah, I agree. Contact me at contact@highimpactflix.com, man. George, thank you. That was National Dossier, by the way. Schmoove says, I wonder if they noticed a spike in pitchfork sales. Would they get the message? I wonder if they noticed a spike in pitchfork sales if they get the message. Funny. Rob D says, keep up the fight, brother. Thanks. Swamp Fox News. Thank you, man. Peanut says, tribulation has begun. Dang, it sure looks like it. Caught you trolling says, keep fighting for the people, brother. Thanks. eKid3000. Brian, you got featured on T-Lav, Last American Vagabond. Yeah, look at Last American Vagabond's channel. Is he here? Let me see. Somebody else is in the room too, or at least they were. It's Logic Before Authority. Is it Last American Vagabond or The Last? Let me see. I just had a mind blank. Who was I looking up? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Logic Before Authority is in the room. Yeah, check out Logic Before Authority's channel. Logic Before Authority has broken some really interesting news about that certain school in I can't say it. It's somewhere in Connecticut. There's a certain school in Connecticut, and some certain thing happened on December of 2012. That's where I was first introduced, I believe, back in 2012 to Logic Before Authority's channel. So you want to check his stuff out. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you coming. We have got, whatever petty differences we might have, I'm not saying I have petty differences with logic before authority. I don't know. But whatever we have, we definitely have to get together about this current. And there is a crisis, and it's not cerveza bug. The current crisis we have far outshadows any pandemic, plandemic, whatever that you could possibly imagine, any natural disaster or national disaster. Nothing is more pressing than for us to take care of the international banking cartel, the Internal Revenue Service, and Washington's District of Criminals. Nothing. Worldwide, on the entire planet. I'm not saying that because I believe it. I'm saying it because I know it, and we can all see what's happening right now. It's happening globally. That is the cerveza bug that we need to be taking care of. Cerveza bug came from who's the Prepper channel? Dang, I keep forgetting you may be in here, but Prepper. Who is it? Who is it that coined cerveza bug? Can somebody tell me? I want to give him a shout out because I really like that guy too. And tell me his name if you can. Who does cerveza bug? If somebody can come up with it before I leave this chat, I'm going to read some more. Shoot. I want to give that guy a shout out. I can never remember his channel name. The Prepared Mind. That's it. The Prepared Mind YouTube channel. What's his name over there? The Prepared Mind. He's not in here. Go to the Prepared Mind. Somebody put the link to Prepared Mind and Logic Before Authority and The Amazing Lucas. The Prepared Mind, Amazing Lucas, and Logic Before Authority. Okay, back to the super chats, guys. By the way, thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the support, not just the monetary support. Thank you for the support with the awesome emails that you guys give me. I'm sorry I can't get around to all of them, but I really, really appreciate it, man. I'll tell you what, it is hard. Fighting depression every day can be really, really mentally and physically exhausting. So you said, Brian, I got featured in Last American Vagabond. That's another guy. Go to his channel. He's got some great, great content. Well thought out, well researched. A linear thinker. Love it. Way to go, man. Your message is getting out. God bless and protect you and your household. Thanks, E-Kid. James B says, as of yesterday, if I get arrested in Pinellas, Florida for breaking a new fake law, you will not get a bond per our sheriff. That's really messed up. Cerveza bug. That was James B. Magazog says, cerveza bug will never be contained. The virus can easily infect house cats, which can then be used to weaponize cerveza cats to spread the cerveza everywhere. I got to watch what I say here, guys. Thank you, Julie McDaniel. Thanks, Photo Via Pop. I'm sharing your work on my Facebook in Scotland. Thanks, man. Thanks, brother in Scotland. We got brothers and sisters all over this planet, guys, and we're all really in this together. Let's just all come together, man. We got to find a way. Behind the scenes, I'm trying to reach out to big channel creators and just, we have big audiences together. I mean, even together, it doesn't match the global population, but if each one of us shares it with, it's that network marketing thing. Share it with two friends who share it with two friends who share it with two friends. If we can wake people up and go, yeah, screw that. What if 10% of the people in your town go, screw it, I'm opening my business. I don't care. Are you with me? I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. And then it spreads like wildfire. And it's like, hell yeah, I'm not staying at home going starving, standing in a bread line. Screw that. I got more dignity than that. And guys, it just takes a couple people to walk forward and do this thing. Jerry Thomas, thank you. Andy Gerard says, just tried sharing your podcast with Dr. Kaufman with my parents, showing how you can't catch a Corona. I said that. A cerveza, but they say I'm crazy and believe CNN experts. Yeah, it is crazy. Upside down world. M1 Garen Bear says, I've stopped voting, but have been tempted to vote against 2A laws occasionally. What would you do? Man, that's just a can of worms. I just don't vote. I don't, because it's an illegitimate process. The best thing we can do is set brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. Because look what voting has gotten us. Voting has gotten us 20,000, even people resisting and standing up and forming, the National Rifle Association, which is completely against the Second Amendment, the Gun Owners of America. What have we gotten? 20,000 federal firearms laws. It's like okay, what are we doing? What are we doing right here? If you consent to any legitimacy or perceived legitimacy of the government and you support, that's basically showing by your actions that you think it is legitimate when it's actually not. So I don't participate in that. I try to befriend, my friends and my neighbors and everybody I come in contact with and try to drop them a kernel of truth. And if we all did that, we can make a serious change. We're not going to have change if just 1, 2, 3, a dozen people do it. But if we set those brush fires of freedom, all bets are off, man. The revolution was won with a low percentage of the colonial population. Low percentage. It's not the majority who will prevail. It's the irate and tireless minority who are keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. That's more than a cliche. Thank you for your work. Andrew Argerter says, thank you for your work. I've been sharing your videos and I feel like they're really making a difference. Keep it up. Thanks, man. Jerry Thomas says, just like the Roman circus, the USA has sports, reality TV, all TV, agenda, media. Just keep the people entertained. Yep. I think William Cooper, I woke up. William Cooper, man. That guy, I don't know all of what he taught, but man, that guy was boom, right down the line, hard hitter. He didn't care what people thought about him. And it sure does look like they offed him, man. It sure does look like they did. Totally safe. Right before 9/11, he called out 9/11. He calls out Osama bin Laden months before anybody even heard about that guy. Branches of Yahweh says it's all a lie. We will not comply. Perfectly Imperfect says, thank you for sharing the info. I have a video of docs and police forcing a man to test and treat for cerveza bug against his will. They attacked him and tied him down. Is that the guy that looks like it's in the hospital and the guys who are coming after him look like they're really big guys and they got doctor's suits on? Because I question something about that. There's just something about that doesn't sit right with me. Pineapple Potamus says, could you look up Wim Hof and help save lives? That guy's phenomenal, man. But I saw a video of him where he played politics. But I mean, there's other stuff that he does. Yeah, I'll look more into Wim Hof, guys. Thanks, Pineapple. Flojo Tube says Tim Truth needs help sharing vid 10 minutes ago. Go now. Tim Truth. I don't know who that is. Maybe contact at highimpactflix.com and just give me a link. R. Crone, thank you. Horse with no name, I appreciate you. RV Nomads 365. Check out RV Nomads 365. I haven't yet looked at their channel. Let me just type it in. God, our currency's worthless. Holy mackerel. Prices are going to go through the roof. Stop fear-mongering. Let me see. RV Nomads 365. Did I type that right? RV Nomads 365. There's their channel right there. 1,300 subscribers, 59 videos. I'm going to sub you right now. Let me see. What are we seeing here? All right. I just subbed RV Nomads. Thanks, man. I appreciate the support. Here's some support right back at you. All right, guys. There's one more. John Williams, share your stuff to a lot of people. Most don't want to know the truth. It's true. It's true. It's almost like you're trying to give them the way some people ask, like, what are you crazy or something? It's almost like you're giving them a stink bug. It's crazy. Tim Truth released a video just now. Man strapped to a hospital bed in Texas and injected against his will. All right, Jake. So Tim Truth. Let me see. We'll just do this live real quick, guys. Tim Truth is the name of the channel, Jake. Let me see. Tim Truth, 7,500 subscribers, 266 videos. He's been working. Medical tyranny, man strapped to hospital bed. All right, so what I'll do is I'll just put this link in the description here, or in the rolling comments. There's a shout out to Tim Truth. I don't know anything about Tim Truth's channel, so guys, there it is right there. All right, guys, I need to get out of here. I really value this time that we have together. I love reading your comments. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for the support. Patreon, guys, thanks for keeping me afloat. Thank you, PayPal. And thank you for the super chats. Please take a second to go to my highimpactflix.com site and go over here to the right-hand side, first name, email address. I never spam anybody. Anything that I give you will always be valuable. You'll get this free ebook that I think you'll really benefit from. It's really a good way to just cleanse your mind of all the bureaucratic Washington's District of Criminal BS, man. Don't get discouraged. Okay, I'll tell you what. I can't say don't get discouraged because I'd be a hypocrite. I get discouraged all the time. I mean, every time I read these news articles about just this massive push for tyranny on our land. So it's discouraging, but take that discouragement and turn it around. Take that fear and turn it around. You will not get through this life and not be fearful. You're a human being. You're going to be fearful. Let it work for you, not against you. Take the pain, take the stuff and then do positive things with it. Pay it forward. Help people out. Look, we might go down, guys. We're on the brink. We could be loaded onto boxcars. As surreal as that sounds, there are FEMA camps all around our country and probably similar things around the world. They didn't build those for nothing. In the 1940s, they literally had what they called internment camps and put all the Japanese Americans in them against their will and without their consent. For us to think that's not going to happen to us, we got our heads in the sand. This could really go bad. Riots in the street, martial law, curfews enforced by the U.S. military. And I would just beg U.S. military, please, guys, share this video with everybody you know. I want this video to get into the hands of law enforcers. Guys, we're not your enemies, but you're acting like you're our enemies when you transgress. I'm just asking you to obey your oath, not your oath to the entire Constitution, just the oath to the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment of standing armies, the Fourth Amendment, and the Fifth Amendment. That's it. And really, not even that. You don't even need amendments. Just obey your oath to humanity. The fact that you would not want somebody to violate you, rape your wife, throw your daughter in a dungeon, kidnap and cage your son, fine them for no freaking reason other than a politician told you to obey their orders. I'm just asking you, please, law enforcers, military men, don't foist tyranny on us and don't turn your minds off and just obey orders. Please learn from history. Don't do this to your fellow Americans. Australian soldiers, don't do it to your fellow Australians. Chinese soldiers, stop doing that to your fellow Chinamen and women. Mexican, authorities, same thing. Canadians, same thing. I don't care. It doesn't. If I've left out, there's tons of countries. I'm just saying, all you human beings who think you have authority, you don't in reality. Just because somebody told you that they did, and there's some kind of magic pixie dust incantation legislative gobbledygook that looks no more convincing than unicorn crap in a field of rainbows. You don't have a right to initiate unjust force and violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. You don't. But the UN told me it doesn't matter. But the World Health Organization said it doesn't matter. Please don't take away somebody's rights. I beg. I at this point, I'm begging on behalf of America and on behalf of the world. Don't abuse your authority. Please. Please share this with everybody you know. If you deem it shareable, please like it if you deem it likable. And please sign up to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. I will see you guys. Please hold on to whatever freedoms we have left because, they're pretty much gone. But let's not just hold on to them. Let's get back the rest of the freedoms that we've already lost. I love each and every single one of you guys. Let's please stick together.